So let me give you a little rundown. I got some parts over here on the bench. I may just slap some stuff on tonight, just some covers, but let me show you what I've got going and what's going to be in the works for this thing. Let me show you what I got all over here laid out on the bench of what's going to be going back on this bike, and show you what we got. Let's go. So for reassembly, I started pulling this stuff off. If you followed along with some of the other parts in this series, these got polished up to a degree, not show polished, just returned back to some luster. So transmission side cover, primary cover, and of course the cam cover over here. I have everything laid out in bags. So primary bolts. This is all for the transmission, for the cable, all the bolts themselves. And then my buddy Joe came through big time for me. Hooked me up with a brake line here that's long enough for the 14-inch lines. Hooked me up with a clutch cable that's long enough for the 14-inch lines. And also hooked me up with throttle cables that are long enough for the 14-inch bars. So I am thankful for that. This is what friends are for, and this is how you budget build. You can go ahead and buy new. Originally, I wanted to put, you know, stainless on here to kind of match with the polished, you know, covers, as well as the chrome bars and the chrome front end. But, you know, I got black housings here. You know, I got black controls here, or black perches. I got black housings here. And I looked at Joe's bike, and he's got chrome bars and black cables as well. And beggars can't be choosy, right? So if you're keeping it budget friendly, you take what you can get. And definitely this is going to help with the budget side of it. So I think tonight what I'm going to do is just do some basic stuff. I have the gaskets for the transmission, the primary. I have the gaskets for the cam cover, primary, and the transmission. I don't think I'm going to throw the transmission one on because I might, depending how far I want to get into this cable and how much I want to get all this put back together. But for sure, I'm going to slap the primary cover on, and I'm going to slap the cam cover on tonight. Just get those covered up and buttoned up so it starts looking like a bike again. All right, so before you go and put new stuff on, I highly suggest that you get new gaskets. Just while you're there, it's a good thing. You're going to put new fluids and everything. The last thing you want to do is put all this stuff together and find out your gasket is messed up, and then you got to drain your fluid and, you know, do it all over again. So if you can, new gaskets. So I went out and got some new gaskets for this thing, and lay out all your bolts. I know where they all go. So we're going to slap this thing on here and get it looking like a motorcycle again. All right, now before you go and torque everything down, just get these things started. So many people I see out there will like get it tight. They get one bolt tight, and then they'll get another tight, and then they'll get another tight. You really just want to get this thing on and get all these bolts kind of started and in the threads, making sure that they're going in good before you start tightening stuff down. When you start tightening down the primary also, there are torque specs. I'm not going to go specific to torque specs, to be honest. I've done and taken enough off to where I know how much pressure to kind of put and what I'm comfortable with. But, you know, when you do these, you want to kind of do one here, go to this backside, move over here to the center, go down, go back to this corner, come down over to this corner. You don't want to just kind of go in sequence all the way around. You want to put pressure and apply even pressure to it in different spots as you're going around. Again, replace your gaskets, get new gaskets. You're here. It's the simplest thing to do. You can replace these ones a little bit easier than you can the whole primary without having to drain stuff, but I'm here. I'm going to put new gaskets in and just get these replaced while I'm here. So let's finish this up. So another little addition to the budget build. A few years ago, I found this set at I don't even remember where I found it, to be honest, but the guy was asking $20 for the entire set, and $20 was worth it just to get this derby cover that I figure I'll use at some point, at some build, and guess what? This one is going to be it. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this derby cover on here, and I'm going to end up throwing this cam cover points cover on here. I'll probably even use the shifter peg, and I believe these will fit on the axle. This may even fit up on the triple tree stem. These are for baggers, but I am going to use pretty much everything that is in here. I'm not sure what this piece is for, but if I can use it, I just might. But I'm definitely going to throw this on here. This will be a nice little addition to the derby cover, or sorry, to the primary cover itself. Just a nice little extra pop and something different. And didn't cost me a thing. Paid 20 bucks for the entire kit 3 years ago. $20 I forgot about. Well worth it. That's why when you see a good deal, take advantage of it. Throw it on the shelf. You never know when yourself or your friends are going to need it. Nice little addition to the side to the derby cover. Give it a little extra pop over here. So this is called budget building. This is how you budget build. Pull parts off of your shelf, find parts from your friends, and just make it happen. I'm excited about that. Gives it a nice little extra touch, little flavor, and for no money spent out of my pocket. Cam cover back on, and threw the Rook points cover on there as well. That one doesn't pop as much as the other side, but if you're going to do them, make them match, right? So starting to come together, looking like a engine all over again. So I've got all the engine covers back on, so it's looking like an engine again. Cam cover, rocker boxes. I went ahead and put the clutch cable onto the transmission side cover, got that all bolted up, and routed it underneath the cam, popped up in here through the front, connected it here, and right now it's just going to be sitting and floating up here on top until I start addressing the hand controls and start getting the brakes and the clutch mounted and everything. But that's a good stopping point for tonight. Definitely progress, and definitely looking like a motorcycle again with some covers on it. So keep going on this thing. We'll get the bars wired up and connected here soon. I'm gonna have to pull all these wires back down through the frame, but I want to get this thing back on the road. As much as I plan to just get it nice and not perfect, but I planned on getting all the things addressed before I got it on the road. I think the best plan of attack is for me to get it just with the bars, the covers. I'll probably polish up the wheels a little bit before I actually take it out, just so, because I'm going to take the front end again apart to get the suspension rebuilt. But I'll probably polish up the wheels. I'm definitely going to have to take the rear wheel off to get access to the panel that's back here, to be able to help pull all these wires back through the frame. And then I think at that time I'll go ahead and polish up the rear wheel as well, and then put the shocks on. But I'm going to get this thing running and driving and moving on the road, so that if anything kind of pops its ugly head while I'm putting some miles on it, then I can go ahead and address it. You know, you got to do them shakedown miles. I still need an exhaust, but I'm on the hunt for one of those, seeing if a friend has one, but we will find it. But definitely some good progress tonight. Definitely much further than I anticipated on getting. I really going to come out here and just get it on the lift and kind of get some tools put away, but I got busy and started working. So it's coming along. If you haven't been following along, I highly urge you to go back, check out some of the other videos where this bike started, some of the things that I've had to address with it along the way, and a couple of the dollar amounts. Let me give you a quick update of how much I have spent on this. I, out of pocket, have spent about $230. About 120 of that was for a battery. What else did I buy? I bought a carburetor rebuild kit, which I didn't end up needing, but I bought it. I had to buy a mid-control mount, which was $35 because I was missing one from this bike. And that's it. So about 165 bucks. Now the gaskets, you may be wondering, well, I thought you said you put new gaskets. I did. With the podcast, I do a little advertising for a shop that's local, and as part of trade work, as part of that, that's what I was able to kind of barter, so to speak. So that didn't cost me any money out of pocket. It cost me my time when I record the commercials and I edit them onto the podcast, but it didn't cost me any money out of pocket. That was kind of the credit that I used over there. So again, no money out of pocket there. The cables that I just got handed to me by my buddy Joe, those were essentially a gift. Here, man, you need them. They're sitting on my shelf. I don't need them right now. You can use them for that bike. Here you go. So those didn't cost me anything as well. So having friends, having parts sitting on the shelf, and just having some connections definitely goes a long way. But you can do it. You can build yourself and get yourself a decent looking bike and a good running bike if you, one, have a little bit of know-how or are just willing to go ahead and get your hands dirty. Point proven. So that's it for tonight. Stay tuned for the next part. The next part, I'm probably going to start working and slapping the hand controls on, getting the clutch control, the throttle cables on there. Might even slap the tank on there. We're going to see how far we're going to get with the next step. But the next step, definitely going to be moving up to the bars, hand controls, clutch lever, brakes bled, brake line ran, and brakes bled, and all that type of stuff. That's going to be the next phase in this. So if you aren't, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We do some cool stuff here. Podcast every Thursday night, live right here in this garage. Keeping it real, keeping it raw. So make sure to tune into those. Check out the podcast on Spotify and iTunes. And make sure to go give us a follow over there on Instagram at Throttled Roots. All right? Well, till the next one, get to work.